Greetings, film connoisseurs. I have just returned from a sneaky, unsanctioned visit to the set of Fallout Season 2, and I have the pictures and videos to prove it. If you're watching this, it's likely you've already seen the first season of Fallout, but if you haven't, I highly recommend it. Yes, it's based on a popular series of post-apocalyptic, wacky, dark science fiction video games, but you can go in completely ignorant of all the games and have a wonderful time with the show. It's a delightful melange of genres: science fiction, western, with flashbacks to Cold War politics, interspersed with deeply personal family drama. Each episode is thoughtfully written, precisely paced, and artfully acted. But don't just take my word for it, it's one of the most nominated shows at this year's Emmy Awards. Fallout's first season takes place in the ruins of the Los Angeles area, but the actual filming of Los Angeles occurred not just in Southern California, but also New Jersey, New York, Utah, and Namibia. Without spoiling much of the plot from Season 1, I can safely say that Sweaty Agent Cooper leads us to believe the action for Season 2 will move in the direction of Las Vegas. No, fun as it might be, this is not the ruins of the Seattle Space Needle as some of my non-gaming friends thought, but rather Las Vegas, or New Vegas, as it's known in what many fans consider to be the best written of the Fallout games. But I didn't go to Las Vegas, no. Fans of this channel know that I am an intrepid intorter. That's, of course, Hollywood shorthand for entertainment reporter. As an endeavoring intorter, I know that I cannot trust Fallout at face value, so instead of Las Vegas, I went somewhere else, and I did so for two reasons. First, showrunners consulted closely with Todd Howard, the director of the company behind the games, Bethesda Game Studios. Todd is a famously sneaky fellow.
I'm not doing regular dialogues. I'm in this mode of persuading you to get what I want.
Second, Season 1 drops a big hint about the actual location for Season 2.
You come from Vault 33. Your primary crop is corn. You have a telesonic projector in your farm. It lives images of the Nebraskan countryside.
Yes, Sweaty Agent Cooper may be staring down New Vegas by the end of Season 1, but once he finishes with his business there, he's gonna hop right on over to the thematic origin of his hometown vault: rural Nebraska. One of the first things players notice in New Vegas compared to other Fallout games is the scenery. Where other games dwell in the ruins of urban environments like Washington, D.C. or Boston, New Vegas, outside of the Strip, is largely an empty but dramatic landscape. All around me in Nebraska, I was struck by how vast and empty it all seemed. It is at once calming, but also daunting. You could wander for hours in any direction and never encounter a single person. Part of this scenery in the games is mutated plant life. both wildly dangerous and useful for survival. Whether staged by the showrunners or naturally growing, I do not know, but I found wild, unusual vegetation throughout my journey. Next to the remains of this pre-war truck, here you can see what I assume to be a raider encampment, a frequent feature of the games. Marauding villains will rest here temporarily and store the bounty from their raids on neighboring settlements. I really must commend the prop team. Time and again, I found mounds of rubble staged so perfectly to resemble the remains of civilization decades after nuclear war. They were incredibly detailed with this too, not only including various automobiles, but also remembering to place farming equipment at various points as well. Here we can see the entrance to one of the series' iconic vaults, a fallout shelter once managed by a mysterious, secretive corporation, but now taken over by raiders. Judging from the skull, I'd guess it's the Fiends. With raiders like these roaming the wasteland, it's a wild and dangerous place, and the games and show display an array of futuristic and sometimes wacky weapons. I found one such weapon on set here, but I couldn't find any indication of what it's called or how it will be used. It certainly fits the retro-futuristic aesthetic where they repurpose pre-war technology to be weaponized in the future, but I don't know how it will be used. I really look forward to seeing what they will do with it. In the evening, I hid in some cornrows and observed as they tested pyrotechnics for the show. Always great to see practical effects put to use. I wandered into the set and found some of the prop buildings that will be used to show some sort of settlement. This pavilion was particularly interesting. It has a very old Western hotel vibe to it, and I quietly slipped inside to see how they were setting it up. They even left behind one of the prop weapons. I'm sure some kind of old-fashioned sci-fi gunslinging will go down here. Outside the pavilion and around the set, I found lots of examples of retro art. The games and show are full of retro stylings, but to my knowledge, it has typically been more of the 1950s post-war US kind of retro art. Around the set, however, the stylings for Season 2 seem to harken back even further. Could the isolation of this region have preserved an even older style? I can't wait to see how they explain this. If you're a fan of the games and the show like me, I know there's one urgent question on your mind heading into Season 2. How many cows? The mutated, two-headed cows called Brahmin are a recurring background element in the games, and they did make a brief appearance in Season 1. But having been to Nebraska, I can tell you that, oh boy, are we going to have a lot of cows in Season 2. I was not able to see how they're going to do the two-headed effect, but I am just in a state of bovine bliss for Brahmin as we ramp up for Season 2. Finally, I am really excited to show you a completed set piece, the Knobby Ridge Elementary School. Schools of various kinds appear regularly throughout the games, and this one appears to be modeled on a pioneer times one-room schoolhouse. I happened upon this location right as the crew were leaving, and I was able to sneak in behind them and snap some photos. The mix of vintage educational materials, worn-down patriotic propaganda on the walls, and just the perfect amount of wear and tear made this a really special visit. It was like walking into a scene from the games. A favorite recurring topic of conversation among my Fallout fan friends is where to stage the next Fallout, be it a show, be it a game. What city, what region, what climate would be a fun world to explore in a wacky post-apocalypse? I hope you enjoyed my presentation of post-apocalyptic Nebraska. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. I really appreciate your support.